this is the OutIn Nano, and we picked this up for Mother's Day, and my wife has been very thrilled with it. Our only real complaint was that it's a single shot. Now it's kind of cool because you can use pre-ground coffee, or it comes with an adapter to allow you to use espresso pods. As roasters, we don't use pods. You can see this is very small. Not a lot in there. Single shot. If you want to go ahead and do a basic latte for the morning, you're pulling 2 shots. But what if you could pull a double? And that is where this comes in. And so this is the OutIn Plus. And it is a basket, double-sized portafilter, and of course the lid. This, however, is a dosing ring, something that did not have. And that alone makes it worth the upgrade, if nothing else. It also comes with a very nice tamper and a functional distribution tool, although if you have another one, it would probably work faster. And then of course the scoop, which came with the original anyway. To give you an idea of the difference between the two, I'm going to go ahead and make some coffee. So we have here some of our Total Eclipse blend. Now, the original Nano here it's 6 grams. 6 to 8 they say. I find getting more than 6 in there is tricky. Now, this in here is not the easiest nor the cleanest. What we've actually found is that we have to actually go ahead, in order to get everything in, we're having to do this. So we're having to do a partial tamp just to fit the rest of the coffee in. Not ideal. I'm sure that there's some baristas that just had a coronary. And this is a gelato spoon, in case anyone's wondering. That's what we end up using to get the coffee in. It is convenient. I guess the scoop also works as the tamper. Obviously get all the grounds off the top. And then in it goes. So we'll grab some water. Also with this single, you really only can put 50 mils of water in there. Which means you're not going to get a whole lot out. Now the OutIn can heat the water itself. It has a 7500 milliamp battery in there, but we choose to use preheated water. As instead of being able to pull just 4 or 5 shots this size, we can then pull over 100. So there we go, we got about 25, a little over 20 mils out from 6 grams in. It's not bad looking, it's got a decent crema, like it makes a good espresso. But now comes the tricky part. With both of them, there's usually quite a bit of liquid on top that has to be dealt with. very sloppy. It's very wet. It doesn't come out in a nice even puck. And so if you're out in the field and you're having to clean this out, it's kind of annoying. Not insurmountable, not even something that isn't worth putting up with. It's just, it is what it is. It's a mess. It is a bit messy. On the other hand, this is a totally different story. So whereas the smaller one can hold 6 to 8 grams, this one holds 16 to 18, and we've actually found that 18 gives us the best results. Of course, in our little tiny hand grinder, it does take us quite a bit longer to grind it up. But we also don't have to use this as a tamper, and as you'll see, we don't have to tamp halfway through. It avoids that entirely. Okay, so now that that's done, this is so much easier. That's it. And we get a lot more coffee out of it, which makes a huge difference. This is definitely where the distribution tool does come in handy. Our grinder in particular just tends to do that when we're grinding this much. It's only a 30 to 40 gram grinder, so 18 is pretty close to half its capacity. And the thing I like is that they've designed this to go down with the dosing ring, and you're supposed to go ahead and push it down until it's flush on all sides and give it a little twirl. Looks like we ended up with a little bit on the ring. There we go. As you can see, much nicer, much flatter, and if you wanted to, after you knock some off, if that happens to you, you can just put that back on, give it a little spin again. Much cleaner, nothing around the rim there. And then we don't have to do anything other than put this on it. Attach it to the unit now. Last time I was able to set it down inside of this. That is not going to happen. This is thinner. So let's go ahead and get some water in there. Inside the OutIn there are markings for the 50 mil and the 70 mil and then the max, which I believe is 80 mil. And with this one, the recommendation is to go ahead and do between the 70 and the max. So we usually do max. Again, we give it a double. It is interesting in that this is like an open bottom, so you actually do see the bottom of the actual port filter itself. Obviously we had a lot more go in, we're going to get a lot more coming out. The OutIn uses a pressurized basket in both situations. There are a lot of people who will turn their nose up and poo-poo it, but I'll be honest, as a travel option, I don't see how you get around that. There are some folks who tried to go on a cruise in Europe. They tried to bring their full-on espresso maker when the cruise line told them no, that isn't allowed. Give them a little 30 mil out. It's got a nice crema on it. But still, I mean, that makes a nice solid, as the foam is going out, we're getting up to, 35. Again, good crema. Yeah. It's very smooth. I think it makes a really nice espresso. you know, especially for $140 plus another $40 for this particular kit. It's for under $200. It really is a good unit. And again, we've taken this traveling. We've used it in a hotel. We tried to shoot video. It did not work very well. But yeah, it travels well. We didn't have to worry about whether we could access hot water or not. We were able to just heat it up ourselves. Obviously, with the double, we're only going to, out of that battery, we're probably only going to be able to pull 2 or 3 instead of 4 or 5. So, I forgot to show this. So, it is hot, so I tend to leave it in the basket. You take that off. There's a little bit of liquid, but not like the last one. And then it knocks it out as a full puck. Not that sloppy, soupy mess we saw last time. So, cheers.